Hi, Dave.
So, Daniel, let's start with you. Can you tell me when you first met Reid?
Yeah, I met Reid when I went to Wood Street for the MAD program. I don't know what year it was, but I was about 14, and Reid would have been 15, and I met him and Charles Hegstead at the same time. And, from there we all kind of started playing music together and jamming a lot and doing a lot of acting through that program. And, it was really amazing to work with him. He was such a funny and really brilliant guy as far as performing and acting and making people laugh.
Crystal, when did you meet Reid?
I met him actually at a Wood Street dance.
Yeah.
That these guys threw. Probably in, I don't know, I would have been around 13 at the time.
Yeah.
14. So.
The word I think of when I think of Reid is I think he was a really charismatic guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why we made him the host of the network show. He really had a real presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reid had that just, I think, very naturally. I think it was something that he worked on, but I don't think it was something that he ever had to force. I think it was just a part of him, was to, get people's attention, but also just, help people channel their ideas and their laughter and whatever they were feeling, and to be sort of a voice to that.
Tell me, Dan, about getting Raw Element together, getting the music together. Was that something that came pretty quickly as well?
Yeah, we'd known each other for a few years at that point, and after the MAD program, Reid stayed in the MAD program, but I had gone on to out of the MAD program, and I know Reid and Charles were there a bit longer, but we all sort of knew each other, and I'd gotten really into hip-hop, and Charles and Reid had as well. Even back in the MAD program, I can remember doing a show where I played the drums for Reid and Charles as they did a cover of Run DMC, It's Tricky. And maybe that was the first incarnation, just we didn't know it yet. But Charles and I had started writing a lot of stuff, and Reid had really done a lot on his own, writing a lot of hip-hop and putting it out to a lot of people in Whitehorse. He used to sell CDs out of his bedroom window at his mom's house. So you could go to his window and knock any hour of the night, and he'd slip you a CD for $10 that he'd burn himself. And so, it came really naturally for us all to come together. And, we also had met Chris Ermatinger and Fiona Solon, who Reid had worked with, and my brother, Galen. And so that group really came together, and it was really a magic thing for all of us to really feel that hip-hop culture and all of that performance that we'd done over the years kind of came together into a really special time for us. And, making that album was probably one of the best experiences of my life with Reid. And, we went out to Tagish to do some of those recordings in a lot of different places in the Yukon. So I really feel like for us that was something very of this place and hugely influenced by having Reid with us. And all of those experiences will really stick for a long time. And they'll stick in the music too,
Crystal, did you play music with Reid?
I jammed with Reid a lot. Just random campfire jams and parties and just sitting on the beach making ridiculous songs about Reid. We had we just had one song called Apparently, and it was a play on words for his last name, and he just would make up those kinds of songs to cheer me up whenever I felt down. And he was a really good friend like that. He could always make you laugh, and I think a lot of those jams came out of him just trying to make me laugh. So I remember his music as being on a one-on-one was always just really, really funny.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, Reid's been a very big part of a very close-knit group of Yukon friends that are artists, and beyond that, I know Reid has friends all over the world. He's such a easy guy to love, But for a lot of us here, there's a very creative circle, and it really came together over a lot of Yukon nights and Yukon summers and campfire jams, like Crystal says. And I think that's probably the things I'll remember most is times at Shallow Bay and Lake LaBarge, and not so much the recordings in the studio and all that. Those things were fun and informative, but really all those times where the mics were turned off and we were all just making music together, really purely.
Well, I certainly remember Reid through our involvement with the radio program.
Yeah, I meet people all over who listen to that show, in BC and all over, who are like, actually a friend of mine from Nova Scotia who I ended up meeting a few years later, and he's like, that was your show? Who was that guy? How did you get a radio show?
I remember one time he was trying to, I had him do an opener, and he just, I can't remember what word he couldn't get, but he just kept stumbling over the same place. And he got so mad. And I'd never actually seen him mad, although I heard that he could get mad.
and then I think he took off. He
just kind of walked away.
He's like, you know what, Dave, the script.
What am I going to do now? But he came back. He was cool.
He always came back.
He always came back. And I took you guys all up to the Dawson Music Festival, which I think left Sam Be Good scarred for life. But other than that, it was great. There's talk, I know, of a celebration of life happening down in Salt Spring Island this coming weekend. You guys planning to do anything up here?
Yeah, I got a note from Reid's mother, Daisy, last night, and our hearts really go out to all of Reid's family. So this Saturday on Salt Spring Island at Beaver Point Hall, there's going to be a celebration for Reid from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. And it's basically an open mic where anybody can come and share their memories about Reid and bring food and really share in celebrating his life. There's also going to be a celebration for Reid here in Whitehorse on December 11th. We're still confirming the venue, but we think it's going to be at the Wood Street Annex because that played such a big part in Reid's life. And in the meantime, I would really encourage people to go on the internet. There's a Facebook group called Forever and Always The Beat Goes On. Rest in peace, Reid. And there's also Reid's Facebook page that's still up. And, so many people have posted really touching and beautiful memories and photos and music of Reid. And there has really just been an outpouring. So I would encourage people to go and see it because it's really helped me and it's helped a lot. And if anybody would like to hear some of the music, Reid was actually recording an album with a new group that he has. It's actually a new old group. Charles and Reid had a group before Raw Element called Proverbial that they reincarnated with Chris Ermatinger the past couple of years, and they were in the middle of recording an album. And that's going to be coming out some point this year. Basically, just before Reid left here in the spring, he recorded a whole album of his newest work. So stay tuned for that, and you can go and check out some of that music at myspace.com/proverbial. So those are some things people can do if they're wanting to celebrate Reid. And I know Reid would be the first guy to tell you if you want to celebrate me, just party and have a good time and laugh a lot. And so that's what we're going to be doing this weekend.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important for people just to gather, and if they spend time with people who knew Reid and talk about him and laugh. I think that's what he would have wanted to.
Well, thanks a lot, you two. I know that wasn't the most pleasant conversation to have, but I appreciate you coming down to talk to us about it.
No, thank you very much, Dave. And I know Reid is, there's a little bit of Reid in the studio here, too, and now there's a little bit of Reid everywhere. So, lots of love to everybody here who's thinking about him.
Thanks.